Many of you may have asked yourselves, why do the chosen ones face their greatest challenges within their own families? This is a delicate topic, and for many, a deeply painful one. If you've experienced something like this, you might be trying to understand how to deal with it, or wondering why those who should be your greatest support often seem to be the first to resist you. Spiritual awakening, a deeply personal and transformative journey, brings with it a period of intense change. The truth is, not everyone around us can understand or keep up with this process. As we grow spiritually, our energy begins to align with something higher, something that can sometimes unsettle or challenge those closest to us, including our own family. This often leads to conflicts, criticism, or even rejection. But the big question we want to explore today is, why does this happen? Why do our greatest challenges so often come not from the outside world, but from within our own homes, with the people we love the most? In this reflection, I'll share insights that may help you understand this phenomenon. Stay with me until the end, because this journey of understanding could change your perspective. In the meantime, let me know in the comments if you've experienced something like this and how you've been dealing with it. If this video resonates with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content that can truly make a difference. Let's explore this important question together. When we begin walking the path of spiritual awakening, our lives often take a direction that even we don't fully understand at first. It's as if we're reconnecting with something greater, our divine essence, and this sparks profound transformations within us. We start seeing the world from a new perspective, understanding reality in a different way, and acting according to this fresh vision. But what happens when those around us aren't ready to follow this change? Resistance to transformation is natural, and it's not limited to strangers or people outside our daily lives. Often, it's our own family members who become the strongest critics of this process. They may not understand what's happening to you. When your behavior, your attitudes, and even your way of expressing yourself start to change, it can trigger deep fears within them. Fear of the unknown, fear of what you're becoming, and most of all, fear of how this change might affect the family dynamic. When you begin to align with your inner truth, the people around you might perceive it as a threat to the stability they once knew. They resist because they fear losing the version of you they were familiar with, even though, deep down, you already understand that you can no longer live as that old version of yourself. This lack of understanding about the depth of your transformation often leads them to react with resistance or even hostility. This is one of the greatest challenges of spiritual awakening. The discomfort it creates in those closest to you, especially the ones you love. What they are resisting isn't just your change, but the fear of how it might affect their lives. They are afraid of the unknown, afraid of what you're becoming, and perhaps most of all, afraid that their own perceptions of the world might be shaken by the depth of your transformation. Your new self may feel unfamiliar to them, and this unfamiliarity often triggers conflict within the family. It's important to understand that this fear isn't truly about you, but about what you represent to them at this moment. Your transformation acts as a mirror, reflecting changes they might not be ready to face within themselves. That reflection can create deep fear. When you embark on your spiritual journey, the changes you experience reach far beyond your own inner growth. Without even realizing it, you begin to reflect the unresolved issues and emotional wounds of those around you, especially within your family. Spiritual awakening is like a light illuminating everything hidden in the shadows. For those who aren't ready to confront their own struggles, this light can be deeply unsettling. As you develop a new awareness and begin to vibrate at a higher frequency, you start to reveal truths that your loved ones might not be prepared to acknowledge. Your transformation forces others to confront their own pain and limitations, things they may have buried deep within themselves. When your light grows brighter, it also shines on the shadows of those around you, and this can create significant resistance. These hidden wounds can take many forms: insecurities passed down through generations, unresolved childhood pain, or traumas that have remained untouched for years. All of this starts to surface, not because of anything you've done directly, but because your growth acts as a mirror for them to see their own hidden struggles. This reflection isn't always welcomed. When you inadvertently bring these buried feelings to the surface, many people respond with rejection, criticism, or even hostility. No one likes to be confronted with their own wounds, and instead of looking inward, they might direct their discomfort at you. It's essential to understand that this resistance isn't really about you. It's a projection of their unhealed pain and fears. It's not personal, but rather a natural reaction rooted in self-preservation. Even so, it can be difficult to navigate this dynamic. You can't control how others handle their shadows, but you can decide how you respond. The key is not to internalize their resistance or allow it to define you. Instead, stay committed to your journey and remain focused on your healing and growth. As someone experiencing spiritual awakening, you inevitably become a mirror for those around you. Your elevated energy draws attention, even when that's not your intention. Simply by living in alignment with your essence, you reflect truths that others may not be ready to see within themselves. While their reaction might cause pain, it's important to remember that your role isn't to fix them or to force them to confront their issues. Your responsibility is to remain true to your path. In doing so, you not only honor your own transformation, but also inspire others to begin their own journeys when the time is right for them. This transformation can feel like a burden, but it is also a profound opportunity. Your presence has the power to awaken those who are ready to embark on their own journey. And for those who still resist, you serve as a subtle reminder that there is more to explore. Even if they don't immediately recognize it, the changes you are experiencing can be deeply uncomfortable for those around you, especially your family. This happens because, often without realizing it, they begin to see their own shadows when confronted with the light you emanate. For example, as you reconnect with your spirituality, your perspective on what truly matters in life shifts. You begin to prioritize inner peace, seek your truth, and release patterns and behaviors that once felt acceptable. For those still bound by old habits, fears, or limiting beliefs, this transformation can seem threatening. Not because of anything you've done to them, but because your growth highlights something they may not yet be ready to face: the need to change themselves. Your transformation acts as a beacon, illuminating areas they would prefer to keep in the dark. For many, this light can be overwhelming. It is painful to confront parts of themselves that need attention, healing, and transformation. Instead of welcoming your growth as something positive, many may resist it. This resistance often shows up as criticism, rejection, or even hostility because you are no longer the version of yourself they once knew. Instead, you've become a more authentic, connected version of yourself, one that challenges their perceptions. For them, this can trigger an existential crisis. You, as someone experiencing spiritual awakening, become a constant reminder that life can be deeper and more meaningful. While this idea inspires some, it can provoke fear, insecurity, and anger in others. It's important to remember that this resistance is not about you. It's a reflection of the inner processes they are navigating, brought to the surface by your transformation. It is a natural reaction to the need for change, a need that many people avoid. This process of resistance is deeply tied to the ego. The ego, that mental construct of who we believe we are, often creates barriers between us and spiritual growth. As you awaken, you begin to free yourself from the ego's limitations and align with your truest essence. However, the egos of those around you, especially your family, may not be ready to face such profound changes. To the ego, the familiar is comfortable and the unknown is a threat. When you begin to transform, those who are still attached to their ego-driven identities may react with fear, rejection, and resistance. The ego clings to old ways of seeing the world, relationships, and even defining who you are within the family dynamic. When you start to break those molds, it can be interpreted as a betrayal, as if you're disrupting the balance they believed existed. Many families also have collective egos, where generational expectations shape who you are supposed to be and how you should act. When you choose to follow your own purpose, these expectations clash with the new version of yourself. The truth is, the ego fears change because it threatens control. But as you continue on your spiritual journey, you become a powerful example for others, even if they resist at first. It is not your role to change them, but to remain faithful to your process, trusting that over time, your light may inspire them to confront their own shadows. When you begin walking the path of spiritual awakening, it's not just your life that changes. Your energy transforms, your vibration rises, and this inevitably impacts everyone around you, especially within your family. While this shift is positive for you, it can feel challenging for those still trapped in old, limiting patterns. The ego plays a central role in this dynamic. It wants things to stay as they are, in a comfort zone where everything feels predictable and controlled. When you start to transform, the egos of those around you may react with resistance because they feel the family's equilibrium is being threatened. This resistance may appear in various forms: criticism, rejection, or even accusations that you are changing too much. In truth, what is happening is an internal struggle within those individuals against their own fears and beliefs. Their egos resist relinquishing control or confronting the changes your evolution represents. Your role in this process is to stay anchored in your truth. Understand that their reactions are not personal, but rather a reflection of their own unhealed wounds. By continuing to grow and embody your transformation, you hold space for others to eventually find their own path to healing when they are ready. It's important to remember that the ego is not an enemy. It's a natural part of the human experience. However, when the ego becomes rigid, it can turn into a major obstacle, both for your growth and for the growth of those around you. When dealing with the reactions of others, it's crucial to understand that these responses often stem from fear. Fear of losing what they know, and fear of facing the truths that your light is revealing. Your elevated energy can be intensely felt by those around you, and for many, this creates a palpable discomfort. Imagine that, as you vibrate at a higher frequency, your presence begins to act as a mirror, reflecting issues, traumas, and patterns that others might not be ready to face. This confrontation can be unsettling, which is why the reactions you receive are often negative. Simply being at peace with yourself, more aligned with your purpose, and more loving can provoke unease in those who remain in a denser emotional or energetic state. These reactions are not personal. They are reflections of the difference in vibration. Your higher energy challenges entrenched patterns that are often rooted in family traumas and generational cycles. Dealing with this resistance requires patience and understanding. It's natural to want to help, but not everyone is ready to embark on the same journey. Your role as someone undergoing a spiritual awakening is not to force change, but to serve as an example of what is possible. When you maintain your peace and live your truth without imposing your transformation on others, something magical happens. You become a silent example, inspiring those around you. Even if their change doesn't happen immediately, your presence can plant a seed for future awakening. It's also essential to care for yourself throughout this process. Practice self-care and establish healthy boundaries. You cannot carry the weight of others' transformations. This is a journey each individual must take on their own. Remember that spiritual awakening is a personal path, but its impact can ripple out collectively. Your transformation can act as a catalyst for those around you, but the timing and pace of their journey must be respected. In the meantime, stay grounded in your truth and continue to illuminate the way, even for those who are not yet ready to follow it. Trying to carry the weight of others' transformations can leave you drained, emotionally exhausted, and even demotivated. That's why it's essential to take time for yourself, to reconnect with your essence and recharge your energy. This is the time to nurture your light, ensuring it remains strong and vibrant. A powerful strategy during this process is empathy. When family members resist, it's important to remember that their reactions often come from fear, insecurity, or difficulty in understanding the changes happening around them. Instead of responding with frustration or anger, try to see what lies beneath their attitudes. Often, their resistance isn't about you personally, but about the pain, trauma, and fears they carry. This doesn't mean tolerating toxic or abusive behavior. Setting healthy boundaries is crucial, protecting your energy while seeking to understand where these reactions come from. Empathy is not about allowing others to deplete you, but about recognizing their struggles without taking on their burdens. Honest and loving communication can also be a valuable tool. Many family members simply don't know how to handle the changes you're going through because they don't understand what's happening. By expressing your feelings clearly, without accusations or judgments, you can open the door to deeper dialogue. This can help them see that your transformation isn't a threat, but an opportunity for growth. for you and for the family dynamic. Even so, not everyone will be ready to understand your journey right away. That's why it's important to balance your relationships. If the resistance feels overwhelming and affects your emotional well-being, allow yourself to take a step back. Create some space if necessary to assess the situation more clearly and preserve your inner peace. Harmony begins within you. When you stay centered, serene, and true to yourself, you create a solid foundation for dealing with external challenges. Over time, the transformations you experience can serve as inspiration for others to embark on their own journeys. Always remember, your light is powerful, but for it to shine continuously, it must be nurtured in healthy ways. Take care of yourself, respect your boundaries, and trust that, even in the most challenging moments, your journey has a significant impact, both for you and for those around you. Transformation can be challenging, especially when the difficulties come from within your family. But with patience, empathy, and balance, you can carve out a path that allows you to stay true to your essence while gradually helping those around you see the light within themselves.